What does this button do?
Hi, Sorg.
Oh, yeah, hi, LB.
You hit the LB button.
Dr. LB, Dr. LB.
Did you hear that noise that just happened just now?
Oh, it was a ding? What noise?
No, my cat brushed up against the microphone because he was tired being in my lap.
Okay.
So take that, listeners.
Take that, listeners. No, I don't think we got that coming across, but
Good.
Certainly. So anyways, it is the LB and the Sorg morning afternoon power hour. Although are we breaking our own rule here?
We are breaking our own rule, but it's fine because it's our podcast. We can do it however we want, but they are not allowed to listen to it in the afternoon, even though we are recording it in the afternoon.
Right. So anyway, so what's new with you, LB?
I've had quite a day. I woke up very, very early this morning, despite being out very late last night.
Right.
And I got up, got a shower, and right before I got in the shower, I got a text message from a friend of mine, said, "You want to go for a run?" He's my running buddy, Corey. And I said, "Yes, I do." So we went out for a run, ran just under 3 miles, which was great. Tough to get back on that horse. I ran the 5K. I think that was last weekend.
Right.
And haven't run since. So getting back on the wagon is rough, especially it's hot and muggy. And anyway.
Yeah, I was running around today. I can get into a little more, but I usually try not to run the AC because I'm just like I'm very conservative. But I'm like, I don't want to waste the gas on it. I'm like, no, screw it. We're hitting the AC button the last couple of days. This has just happened.
Yeah, it's been intense outside.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, we went and got some breakfast, which is nice. We went to Kelly O's in the Strip District, which don't go. You heard it here first, folks. Kelly O's sucks.
Kelly O's, don't go. You can keep that.
Go.
You can keep that.
Yeah. I got a Belgian waffle. And they're supposed to come with like powdered sugar and whipped cream. I got them without the whipped cream or powdered sugar. Mm-hmm. I just wanted, butter, syrup, waffles, little sausage, right? They didn't bring out my sausage, so I had to wait a while for that. And the syrup that they gave me was not sweet. It had no sweetening properties. It was just sticky.
Oh.
So whatever that was about. So Kelly O's not great, but when that was happening, that took forever. It took forever to sit down and get served and everything like that. And then another friend of ours asked if we wanted to go to the arts festival. So we walked down to the arts festival, hung out there for a while and walked around for a few hours and got terribly sunburnt, but saw some great stuff.
Good. Yeah, I gotta make that. It's around for like a week and a half, and it's like, oh, yeah, well, I'll get down there. Then like, oh, I missed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing how fast it goes.
Yeah, entirely. But
what about you? Tell me about your day.
Well, we had a wrestling weekend, so we had a lot of fun with that. I don't know if you want to talk about that, but always a good time. Mm-hmm. And something I thoroughly enjoy. I really like working with the RWA guys. They're friends, and that's really cool. They're just. We happen to all be friends that work around a wrestling show, it seems, more than anything. And you got to see a little bit last night, kind of palling around with everybody afterwards. And it's just like when we all palled around with them like 6 years ago doing something different. Mm-hmm. Still around wrestling, but in a different capacity, right?
That's correct, yeah. So,
and found myself actually working today, amazingly enough.
Right.
I got it was a contact I talk about a lot kind of getting yourself out there, and this was kind of a product of that, kind of from an angle I didn't expect, because we did evening with PodCamp a couple of weeks ago with up at the hardware store, and it was just like we brought in Chris O'Connor, who's awesome with Libsyn, and like, let's talk about podcasting and let's have an audience and let's put a video up and here's something for PodCamp, and it's just something to start getting people excited about what's coming up, right? Mm-hmm. and made a contact, made a friend, and went out and they wanted to put together a video for a little bit of pitch on their new startup. And I got to hang out at the tech shop for a few hours. And it turned out to be a very profitable day for me, for one thing. And got, this is a guy that's, doing doing a startup, and he's an Iraqi veteran, and it's a great story, and I hope I can kind of share it more extensively here as things keep going. I'm hoping, we're talking, I might be doing some more video stuff with it. And, seeing something really cool where, I guess I can call myself an entrepreneur of a sort.
Mm-hmm.
And, that discussion of like, I'm working 80 hours to make sure I don't work 40,
Yeah. But it's worth it. It's more fulfilling 80 hours.
Oh, entirely. And that's where the discussion was going. And it's like, I'm sorry. One, he would apologize profusely for the short notice on it, because I think he may have hit me up on LinkedIn like Friday, maybe. Mm-hmm. It was Friday because we were having our anniversary that day, and had some fun with that. And but still, I got to go. Missy was busy at the brunch and stuff, so I didn't even see her for half the day, anyways. Or wouldn't have. So I was like, sure, why not? Ended up going out, having a good time, getting something cool filmed, and planning out hopefully a lot of future work that's going to be a lot of fun.
Sure,
and getting something really cool out there. So, and there's a wedding anniversary, 11 years, something like that. I don't know.
That's fantastic. That's absolutely wonderful. What is the secret to your 11 years? If you had to pick one,
not what's the word I'm looking for? Not forgiveness, but not tolerance. Those are bad ways to put that. But it is to a certain point. That's a horrible way for me to say that. I know there's a better way for me to say that. I don't know. The word is escaping me right now. But I don't let things bother me in the relationship. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like I think when I see like some relationships and then people that I know have gotten divorced or something like that, the incompatibilities, because we just, all I can think of are horrible words like tolerate each other, but that's not what I'm trying to get at.
Right.
It's really not what I'm trying to get at. I'm trying to get more at like kind of understanding and saying that is not a thing that I'm going to fight about. That is not worth a fight about.
So it's as simple as you pick and choose your battles.
Right, but it's not. But it's not thinking of the other person as an adversary either.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like we haven't been without our trials. I think some of the bigger topics have been issues, right? But we deal with it. It's okay. It's okay.
So what you're saying is basically the secret to your success for 11 years is hard work.
Well, yeah.
You two, and that's not bad. That's I think most people who have been together for as long as you have would say that it's hard work, but you don't stop working at it.
Right. Am I saying that?
I think so. I think that's basically what you're saying. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Maybe just because I've accepted this as a normal, and I don't know. We were kind of alluding to this when you and I were talking. I was like, I don't remember what being an individual was like.
Right. Yeah.
And that also sounds bad when I say it out loud.
No, but it's a good sign, because do you remember what I said when you said that? I said lame. It's not as great as you think it is.
Exactly.
It's not as great as anybody thinks it is.
And I don't mean this to sound like, man, you're missing out if you're single kind of thing. I think it's perfectly fine. Just like it's perfectly fine for people except to, not have kids or something like that. There's some people that are perfectly happy with their 2 dogs. What I mean? And that's not a judgment either way. This is what works for me, and that not saying, hey, you're really missing out. You should go get your ass married, because I feel like the people that did that with that kind of mentality are the ones that have not lasted 11 years,
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just 11 years either with us. It's 11 plus, because we were together for, what we said, it was probably 15 more like. Actually, no, 16, because I think we met in 99.
That's awesome.
So, and we're pretty much living together pretty shortly after.
Right.
More or less, kind of an interesting situation there. But here we are. You know. Wow.
Well, congratulations. I mean, that's fantastic. Like you said, most people don't hit that kind of milestone. I don't know a lot of people who have been together for that long.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fantastic.
I'm waiting for the point where this is, I don't know, this is a weird thing I have to say probably, but I'm waiting for the point where I've outlasted my parents' marriage. You know what I mean?
Listen, with people of our generation, that's not weird at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could say the same thing, you know, if I had been married, if I was married, but but, you know, a lot of us, a lot of our parents got divorced at some time, you know?
Yeah.
It's the new normal.
It's so weird. And I hit the point several years ago when I looked around at my friends and realized how many that hit, you know, were in that category of divorcee parents, you know, and that leads to I don't know, maybe you've noticed this. The most interesting of friends come from those backgrounds. But those are the ones that I find endearing for whatever reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, maybe that's part of the root here is I'm not with somebody for these 15 years that also has those issues. So she grounds me a little bit because they are happily, you know, her parents are happily married and everything. So so she's a different product, I guess you could say, because it does do something. It definitely does. There's no way around it. That does affect you, like what your house structure was. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's, you know, a lot of people say, is it nature or is it nurture? And the fact of the matter is, it's both.
It's both and then some.
Yeah.
Because it's not just like, what did your parents do at home? It's like, well, what happened to you at school? What happened with this? What were your influences? What were your friends? How were your teachers? And how did you react? Because it's all that. Everybody wants to boil it down to, oh, he went to a good school, so X, Y, and Z. No, it's not. You know,
it's not as simple as that.
No, I know plenty of people that are in a fairly the same situation that I was in that made way different choices. You know, in my mind, the worst ones, you know, the choice-wise. And I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's interesting. I think that I don't dwell on it, but I think that from time to time, I think that's part of it.
You can't spend your entire life, you know, trying to figure out your past. I mean, it's good to spend some time trying to figure out why you do the things you do and why you are the way you are. I spend probably too much time doing that for someone who doesn't go to therapy on a weekly basis, and I probably should. But you know, it's good to have, you know, I think this saying is like one foot in the past and one in the future, or you know.
Well, yeah, and I know.
I don't remember.
And the work I do is therapy is a lot of the problem is the people thinking in the past and dwelling in the past and dealing with that, and that's why they have the problems that they do, because their reactions now are because of what's left in their head from what they have done, what's coming up. I know maybe we talk about here about I am always thinking, okay, what's next? It's like, okay, I did this thing today. Okay, what's next? You know, what's the next challenge? And we talk about celebrating our victories. And it's like, no, it was like, great, I had a great day. Okay, what's next? You know?
Yeah. It's hard to, you got to find that balance between, you know, dwelling on something that you accomplished and jumping ahead to the next thing.
So, but anyways, how you know? So we didn't do anything big this year. We you know, we're not really. Oh, there's a lot going on. All I did was just insist, hey, please take the day off of work.
Yeah. Have a nice little day together.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't. We went out and we had lunch out in Robinson, and then driving around and got lost in the city, and ended up in Kennywood. Loving these season passes, by the way. We went to Kennywood. We walked in, got Dippin' Dots, and then it started raining. We hid under a pavilion for like a half an hour or so, and then we left and went and had dinner down to waterfront. Like, that was it.
Yeah, and that's a nice day.
It is.
That's a super nice day.
So, Yeah, it was fun, and then we just came home and watched TV, which is still a valued time. I'm looking at the things today. I'm like, man, I really just kind of sit and watch. Can I watch Game of Thrones? Oh, I have stuff to do. Oh man. So, anyways, but that's I mean, that's part of that balance, and just saying, little things like, I mentioned before, I try to step away from the email, and man, do I have a lot of email when I peek in there.
Yeah, I've finally gotten back to the point where I'm at inbox 0 for now, and I'm trying desperately to keep up with that and maintain it. But I know when I go back to work on Monday, it's gonna skyrocket because I won't have the time to.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. Is okay, I'm going to get in this. I'm going to get my task list down and everything. And like even like Thursday, Missy's like, I got a lot of emails from you. It was like, yeah, because I didn't have a lot of pending things, and I was actually just working through my task list on all those businessy things that have needed done for a while. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, just kind of dealing with that. Yep.
Cool.
So I'm curious if I can ask you a question about last night.
Yes, lay it on me.
Okay, so of course you had an opportunity last night.
Okay.
With RWA, there was a gap, and I've been trying to get you into the wrestling biz officially here for a while, Will.
Mm-hmm. I've noticed.
I've talked about this on I think Basic Sorgonomics or whatever I used to call it beforehand, where I think my friends are superstars and I want to give them opportunities to get them out in the world. Mm-hmm. And so you got to do commentary for RWA, and you found yourself in a little bit of a situation. Not to get too big into what that was and how insane the show ended up last night and everything going into it. That's for another podcast. But let's say things were not what you expected when you got there, and even what I got you in, it wasn't what I expected to get you into. Let's be clear on that.
That's true. Yeah.
But I was clear on you were behind the microphone talking about wrestling. That didn't happen. Mm-hmm. And I know I could see it on your face. You were a little panicked at the beginning, and seemed to feel seemingly a little better towards the end. So your first night commentating for professional wrestling, real professional wrestling out there in West Newton, with the great folks in RWA. What I just kind of want to get in your head a little bit, if that's okay, about how that went for you. And really kind of like that challenge was put in front of you, and then grew.
Sure.
So how did you do with that?
Well, let me start by saying that they put on a great show. Mm-hmm. The show itself was spectacular. They did a lot of scrambling, had to shuffle the cards. Yeah. Or card, rather. The wrestlers, there were some wrestlers that weren't able to appear until like the very end. And they put on a great match. Every single wrestler that came out there really, they I want to say busted their ass, so I'm just gonna say it, and you can believe that if you want.
Nope. That's fine.
So like you said, basically the idea was that I would go out there and I would do color commentary, which I was more comfortable with. I was gonna be a heel, which if you're not you don't know a lot about wrestling, heel means bad guy. I was gonna, insult the face wrestlers and insult the crowd and everything like that. And I had a few things worked up, insults for wrestlers and whatnot. And I get there, and the guy that I'm working with, who was a completely different guy than we thought I was going to be working with, he insisted on being the heel color commentator. So anything the small amount that I had prepared went completely out the window. Mm-hmm. So I was totally winging it, and I kept explaining to him and Ryan Mitchell, who eventually came over and announced with us as well.
Ryan Mitchell, a pro wrestler of several years. He's actually spent time in WWE developmental. He's been to Japan, I think, trained by one of the Funks. Mm-hmm. So
and a good-looking young man. He is a good-looking guy.
Is this your first time in person with him?
Yes, it is. And it's a little intimidating. He's great shape, very good looking. So, but I was like, this is my first time doing this. You guys are going to have to, pick up a lot of the slack. I'm just following your lead. And I know there was a lot of parts during the night where I didn't know what to say. There was a lot of dead air. And eventually I found if I just kind of filled it by just saying what I thought was happening in the match, trying to call whatever moves were happening and stuff like that, just trying to fill dead air essentially. It was not. There were a few parts that were fun, and a few parts where the guy who I was working with, Ken, we kind of gelled a little bit. But then there were a whole bunch of parts where I was like, what's happening? I don't know. This is ridiculous. I don't know what's happening. I can't do this. I don't want to do this. So it was interesting. It was a very interesting and different experience. Mm-hmm. It was very much getting thrown in the deep end and not knowing how to swim whatsoever.
And welcome to indie wrestling.
Right. Yeah.
And I gotta say, to be fair, no, you didn't have a lot of background, but to be fair, also, I think if the regular guys were there were so many new faces that they would have been making it up as they go anyways.
That's true, but they have more experience on what to say, and they would just kind of be filling in different names.
Right. So there's a comfort level there. I mean, we have our friend Joe Dombrowski who's been doing this for well over 10 years. I'm sure I can probably dig it up somewhere around here. His first show, and I'd actually love to compare. But go listen to how he did at first, and compared to what you did there on Saturday night. It took him 10 years to get to this point where he's the guy that they call up every once in a while for pay-per-views, for Ring of Honor of all people, and that kind of thing. You got to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, that's true. That's true. It was definitely a learning experience. I'll say that.
Certainly. Yeah. Would you do it again?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I've been thinking about that. I've been kind of going back and forth about it. I learned some things about what it is like, and I also learned some things about myself doing this. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I would do that again, but it might have encouraged me to do something else that I've been putting off for a long time.
Mm. What if you knew for sure you had like the regular guy to work with? For instance, yeah.
But I can say that the thing that I think it is going to make me do is finally put down the money and do improv classes and do some stand-up comedy. Like I've wanted to do it for my entire life, and I just keep putting it off. And I think it's time.
Certainly. I mean, we know people in the wrestling business that do that too. Mm-hmm. It certainly would help with, RJ City, of course, he's somebody who's been on TV doing the various things with Nickelodeon. So I think he's already in that kind of entertainment in general, not just pro wrestling kind of aspect.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would help with a lot of things. I mean, how many things are you doing online, in front of a microphone? And I think
enough that I spent real money on genuine equipment.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm. So it's like, well, let's set this up to another aspect.
Yeah, and a lot of it also has to do with you've been encouraging me to come out and film the Sister Sorella, that the No Name Players. That's what they're called, right?
Yes.
At the Arcade Comedy Theater here in downtown Pittsburgh, and just seeing them do that and seeing the improv things that they do during the break, and I'm like, I could do this. I used to do this. I did really super low level improv in college. I could totally do this. Mm-hmm. So the only response I can have for myself at that point is, then why aren't you?
Exactly. Let's shore this up. Let's see what pieces are missing and see where we can do with this. I mean, I think as it is, like, I know you have a bit in your mind, but knowing that you kind of come off the cuff with Sawtooth Willie, some of the random stuff that happens on the podcast, the donkey story from last night, for instance. This is okay. So the people are legitimately
trying to fill the time.
All we knew, like, legitimately, they came out and said that they have a flat tire and they're trying to get it changed at a Walmart 3 hours away from the venue. Mm-hmm. When they showed up, you told the story in the middle of the match where you can argue whether it was a good match or not. But in the middle of the match, you know, rest holds, nothing terribly exciting happening. You spelled out this story about how they got here and how they didn't have the tire at the Walmart, so they went to a Kmart, and then somehow it came into a donkey sheets, and they ate the donkey.
Yeah, no, yeah, basically that's it. Yeah, they didn't have the tire, but they did have a donkey, and I can't remember it exactly, but it was all kind of improv. And if anybody who's seen the Sawtooth Willie videos for some reason also listens to this RWA DVD, I do channel a little Sawtooth here and there.
But it's a good base. It's a good base, and Kenny started working with you a little bit there, and it turned into something. Well, I was crying.
That's one of the things I said when we were going to do this. I would be like, I just want to, you know, sit there and crack up Sorg, and I did it.
Yes, you did. Nobody has cracked me up that hardcore on the headsets. But there's also nobody else on there has had the brand of humor that I think both of us share. So you kind of hit it home. So, anyways, oh geez, what's next? What do we have here?
Sorg, I know what's next.
Yes,
and it's a question.
Yes.
Sorg, was making you happy?
Was making me happy. You know. Hey, you know what? I played video games today, randomly. Actually, I've been doing this a lot lately. Chachi bestowed on me a lot of his stuff when he moved in with his girlfriend. He did a lot of liberation, which means, as me, that I need a lot of stuff liberation happening around my house. That doesn't help me. But it did do one thing. I hooked up his PlayStation, because I didn't have a reliable PlayStation. Like I have a couple, like I have two PlayStations, and they both have problems like reading discs every once in a while. And it's really annoying, and I just never hooked them up again. So I got his that works pretty good, and I loaded up Guitar Hero 3 while I was working on DVDs, actually for RWA over this weekend, and it was really nice when I need the computer takes forever to boot up in there, and I'm just, you know, maybe burning or printing a couple DVDs that I could just pull that up and just play a couple songs on Guitar Hero and go back to work. Or even today, I actually, when I was randomly in a Five Below over the weekend, I found Metal Gear Solid Revengeance, which is like the super action-packed version of Metal Gear from a couple years ago.
Yeah, that was the one that like kind of focused on swordplay and stuff. Yeah,
it's a hack and slash, really, and it's just high action, and it's actually ridiculous. I had some time today, and I popped it in, and it was just so much fun to just kind of dive into that a little bit. You know, and I'm really hitting video games hard. I'm also highly addicted to Mortal Kombat X, WWE Immortals, and Injustice on the phone, on the iPad. I'm actually playing on the iPad mostly, since they're all basically the same game.
Right. And I'm going to make it worse for you, and I'm going to recommend that you download the Marvel Contest of Champions or something. It's called something like that.
It's funny.
It's also very similar.
It's funny because well, these ones are similar because they're by NetherRealm, so they're pretty much the same format. And it's one of those. It's a free fighting game, but it's a collector RPG-ish level up thing too. You know, it's a freemium. And I was initially doing Immortals, and the Marvel Champions one came out, and I'm like, no, I can do one of these at a time. But now I'm just juggling the three of them, and you're going to make me do that. And but the problem is the format's going to be different, because this one I can hop in and say, oh, I do this, and now I got a gold character. Now it's like, okay, I got to figure out how this one works. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to do. Yeah, I have room on my iPad. I'll probably end up doing it. So.
Sure.
But I mean, it's enough fighting game without me booting it up, having my TV, and deal with it. Like, it's something I can tinker away with. But you know, when something's on TV, but I don't need to be completely invested with what's on TV. But I don't, watch with Missy or whatever, you know. So I don't know. I've been really enjoying that, and I've been falling out of the cat game as I check my cats right now, because this is the only time I thought of it.
Yeah, it has been a little busy, and I went a couple of days, you know, And when I say I went a couple of days, I mean I didn't check the cats during the day. I checked them at the beginning and the end.
The cats are dead. If you're not familiar, there's this game we've been playing. I think it's called officially Cats Collected. Chachi, I think, reviewed it over on insertcointoBegin.com. And a lot of it's in Japanese, but it's just you put the food out, you buy things, the cats show up and leave your presents. And there's the music.
Yeah, I got no kitties laying around because I'm out of food here.
Yep. I just put the food out. There we go.
I got a nice full roster of cats giving me fish. It's fun. It's adorable little cats, and it's a nice low pressure game. You check in with it every now and then, and it's nice.
Real nice.
Yeah.
So, anyways, on that point, so what's making you happy, Will?
I'm choking to death.
Oh no.
Sorry. What is making me happy right now is accomplishing goals. I am a goal accomplishing machine lately, it seems. I finished a 5K, which is something I set out to do quite a long time ago. And this weekend, for the first time in a number of years, I own a car. I saved for quite a while to be able to purchase a car, and it worked. And after, for various reasons, having to put it off, I finally have a car again. I'm thrilled and ecstatic, and it's a huge weight off my shoulders. I can go grocery shopping whenever I want. I can come into the studio. I can just drop in on the Mayhem studio and have pizza and do a live episode of the Mayhem show,
It's liberating. It's liberating. You owe me a couple of rides.
I do.
Not that I will need them because we have two cars.
Right. Yes. But just for why not? Just be like, I don't feel like driving. All right, Will.
We can decide to go somewhere, and you'd be like, dude, I'll drive. And I'll be like, yes, you can. I'm not used to this.
Yeah.
I'm not used to it.
It's very exciting, and especially my friend Corey, who I mentioned earlier, I run with. He is also a D&D friend. We play a lot of D&D together, and we worked out a deal early on. And I was like, I got to save for this car, so what if I paid you, like a flat amount every month, and then I could ride with you to D&D every week when we go. And he said, how about you don't pay me and we do that anyway? And I was like, okay. And then I got the car and I was like, listen, you want to ride? That's fine. You want to go somewhere? Whatever. You just want to drive around, sit in the back, and I'll call you Miss Daisy? That's fine. Let's make that happen.
Ooh, role playing.
It's role playing. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm thrilled. I got a car. I ran a 5K. I'm back on the horse. I went out for a run today. And now that what do you do when you accomplish goals? Just what you said earlier. What's next? And you start working towards the next ones.
Yeah, exactly. Don't rest on your laurels.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I got a car.
I need to figure out what those next ones are.
Exactly. What's the next thing that's going to make you happy?
I don't know yet. Buying a bed.
I was just gonna hypothetically put that out there, but yeah. But still, yeah. All right. On that note, it's a good talk. Thank you. I saw you. It's weird to be like, oh, we got to have our talk, and I'm like, well, I've seen you all weekend.
Great. Yeah.
So,
but it's good. It's good because I think we have these conversations. We put them out there into the world, and hopefully, we're not just helping each other; we're helping others.
And then a combination of the discussions we have the rest of the week sometimes.
Yes. Yeah, so. That's correct. Oh, one little side note. One other thing that has been making me happy. I had a day the other day where I just needed to come home and relax, and I wanted to download a video game or play a video game that I didn't have to think about, and I downloaded Minecraft. And I am not ashamed to tell you that it is a blast. I've been listening to the audio version of Gone with the Wind and playing Minecraft because that's what my life is.
Wow. There's a vision for you. What classic novel audio book would you play during Minecraft? Let us know. Let us know. At DJ Lunchbox on the Twitter. I'm at Sorgatron. And again, the call is still out there. Let us know what's making you happy. Maybe we can have a discussion around that here in the coming weeks as well. So let us know. powerhour@sorgatronmedia.com, or just let us know in the Twitters, and we'll try to put them aside here and talk about them on the show.
Tell us. We want to know.
All right. Well, I guess until next week.
That's right, Sorg. Keep running.
All right, that's good.
Good stuff.
It's in the bag, man.
Oh, God, I'm so tired.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it. I was like, I need to do this. I need to edit Sawtooth Willie. And I get to watch Game of Thrones, but I kind of want to nap.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm torn. I'm really torn.
Yeah. To just have a real short nap. Just like a half hour.
Do the power nap. Oh, I've been doing the 10-minute power naps. Like the last hour Raw thing that I've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
So like
those are good.
But I don't do those so much like when like Missy's here and stuff, because I'm like I feel like I don't know. I feel bad if I'm napping when she's around because I feel like I'm not giving her time. I don't know. It's a weird thing. That could be a whole other podcast. Right. So. No,
that totally makes sense. That could have applied to this week's podcast.
Yeah, actually, yeah, because it was a lot of that. Like I try to keep in mind, like, oh, I should go do this. Yeah, but when's the last time I got to just hang with her? And even if it's just like us sit and watch TV or together, whatever. So yeah, like the worst thing happened this week where I scheduled a consultation Wednesday night, and then she scheduled a dinner with somebody Thursday night. So we missed each other both nights. They were just like, oh no, if I would have known that. So
right.
At least pushed it back so we were like in sync, not together. So time is valuable. All right, Absolutely. Man. All right, I'll see you later. Let's try to get back to lunches this week or something.
Yes, absolutely. We have to have lunch this week.
Now that things are a little less weird with holidays and anniversaries and such.
So. Right. And we can go over to the arts festival.
For lunch?
We could sit on the lawn.
That's a great idea. Yeah. I think I'm open my normal days this week. So.
Okay. All right. Let's either one of us send out a text message tomorrow. That way we can get all the scheduling out of the way early in the week.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm down.
Cool.
All right. Later, dude.
All right. Later, man.